Hi friends. So one of the things that Ezra and I like to do together every night before he goes to bed is we read stories together. And usually I'll read him a story and he'll read me a story. And he is 3 years old, like lots of you are. You are 3 and 4. So he is 3 years old, so he can't read the words yet, but he can read the pictures just like you can. So I'm going to read this story to you. I'll read the words and the pictures. Okay, so this book is called Good Night Gorilla. It's the cover. On the inside we have the title page. It's by Peggy Rathman. That's the author, the person who writes the story. And she must have drawn the pictures too, the illustrator. Good night, Gorilla. So, what is happening in these pictures? Well, I see a lot of things happening. I see there is a gorilla cage, and it looks like there's cages of a lot of other animals too. So where do you think they could be? They could be at the zoo. And this is a person at the zoo. It's dark out and there's a moon. So I think it's nighttime. Maybe the zoo is closing. And he has some keys and he's saying goodnight to the gorilla. So he's probably locking up all the animal cages and making sure that they are safe for the nighttime. But what is that gorilla doing? I could look and I could say, I think he's taking the keys. Why would he do that? Let's see. What did he do with the keys? He unlocked his cage. He's climbing down. And who is he following? He's following the zookeeper. Do you think the zookeeper knows that the gorilla is following him? I don't know. It also looks like there's a little mouse friend who's following the gorilla. The zookeeper says, "Good night, elephant." What's the elephant doing? He's just sitting there. I see the gorilla is looking back toward the elephant, and he still has those keys. So what do you think he's going to do? Yep, there's the elephant. Is he in his cage or out of his cage? He's out of his cage. So the gorilla must have unlocked his cage and let him out. The zookeeper says, "Good night, lion." And the gorilla, what's the gorilla doing? He's unlocking the lion's cage too. Oh, so now we have a gorilla, an elephant, and a lion. And the zookeeper, I don't think he knows, because the zookeeper's job is to make sure all the animals stay in their cages and protected at the zoo. The zookeeper says, "Good night, giraffe. Good night, hyena." What are the giraffe and the hyena doing? They're coming out of their cages because who opened their cages for them? The gorilla did. He's the one with the keys. Good night, armadillo. Little armadillo. And even that one has a little door with a lock, and the gorilla's looking at it. Now I see the zookeeper has walked from the zoo all the way across the yards to a house. I think it must be his house. He's going home for the night after he said goodnight to all the animals. And who followed him? All of the zoo animals. I see a gorilla, the elephant, the lion, the hyena, the giraffe, and the armadillo. Oh, and I even see a little mouse. The little mouse is right there with the banana. They followed him into his front door, through what could be his living room and the hallway, into another door. Where did they follow him? Into his bedroom. And I still don't think he knows, because wouldn't you be pretty surprised if you knew there were some zoo animals in your house? Yeah, and he doesn't look surprised. He looks like he's just gonna take off his shoes and go to bed. And I think all these other animals are thinking about laying down and going to bed too. The gorilla's yawning. Oh, he probably feels pretty tired. And that is the zookeeper. Maybe that's his wife sleeping in their bed. And she turns around and says, "Good night, dear," to the zookeeper. Do you think she knows that there are animals in her bed and in her bedroom? I don't think she knows, because she would be pretty surprised. She would be shocked, very surprised, if she knew. Because zoo animals aren't usually in your bedroom. And then it's black because she shut off all the lights. And do you know, these all say, "Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night, good night." I think those were all the animals saying good night. What do you see? I see all black, and I see two eyes open really wide. When you're surprised or shocked, your eyes open really wide. So do you think she knows now? I think she knows now that all the animals said goodnight to her, that they're in her room. So she turned on the lights. And now I see she looks pretty surprised. That gorilla looks pretty happy. He's like, "Hey, I'm in your bed. It's comfy." So, in these pictures, what are they doing? There's the zookeeper's wife. She is marching them all the way back to the zoo from her house. Because zoo animals do not belong in houses. And then she's leaving the zoo and going back to her house and saying, "Good night, zoo." Look at that gorilla. That gorilla has his finger up to his mouth like this. Shh. So do you think that she knows the gorilla still has the keys and let himself out? I don't think so. I think he's trying to be sneaky behind her. And she says, "Oh, good night, dear." Ooh, that was a real yawn. And he says, "Good night." Who's crawling into the bed with them? I think I see a gorilla. He dropped the keys. And now they're all sleeping soundly in bed. And the little mouse says, "Good night, gorilla." And the gorilla, does he look like he's awake or asleep? He looks like he's asleep. And the little speech bubble says, "Shh, shh," because I bet gorillas snore. The end. So, remember, boys and girls, even if you don't know how to read the words, you can always read the pictures and tell a story using your imagination and what you can see on the pages. And if you don't know what's happening, maybe mommy or daddy or whoever is reading with you can ask you questions and help you figure out what's going on in the story.